occupied by a very fiery deity called as Jagadamba, is the mother of the universe. She has to protect her children who are trying to swim across the ocean of illusion and who are being always hampered by the people who are against God, who are antichrist, who are anti-God, who are devils, who are called as Rakshasas. And so she has to protect them, and that's why she's such a fiery goddess, like a tiger. Actually, one of her conveyance is a tiger, another is a lion. After that, now, today, we want to know about this chakra, which is the Vishuddhi chakra, Vishuddhi. America, in the map of the world, is this center, is Vishuddhi. That's why it is important to understand what do we stand for, America. Now this center has got 16 subplexes, and it manifests in the growth, the cervical, which looks after all the ear, nose, throat, the eyeballs, and the neck, all the problems of vision. The facial construction depends on this chakra. Whatever is the condition of the center, you have the expression on your face. As I told you, it has got 16 subplexes, and all the vowels are created in this center. Of course, English language has got the vowels which are not scientifically all right. But the Devanagari script has got all the vowels are 16 in number, and that's why they are all produced here in this way. This is the growth side of the center. The subtle side of this center is that this is the center of collectivity. When man raises his head, he sees around himself his fellow men. And he starts thinking that there must be something very, very common between us. That we are part and parcel of one universal, of the great primordial personality. The central part of Sushumna of ascendance creates this primordial being, ultimately, is the final, is the complete form of this ascendance of the evolution ends up here. So this is the primordial being, if you say this is the primordial being, and this is the primordial Vishuddhi, then this Vishuddhi is the one that represents what Muslims say as the Akbar aspect of God, the primordial great being. In Sanskrit language it is called as Virat. Now, this primordial being incarnated on this earth, as I told you that all these aspects incarnate, the central aspect on this earth as Sri Krishna. And his power was Radha. Ra means energy, Dha means the one who sustains. Radha means the one who sustains the energy is Radha. So on the center is Sri Krishna and Radha. On the right side is his image as a king when he went away from Gokul and Mathura after killing a devil called Kantha, who was his uncle actually. He went down to Gujarat and settled down there and ruled that country. There he was called as Vithala and Rukmini. I am telling you these names because when you are raising the Kundalini, if the chakra stops there or Kundalini starts there, you have to take two steps. On the left hand side is his sister. who was just born and was killed again, and she appears to us as a lightning in the sky. She is called as Vishnu Maya. All these three centers are very, very important. When you are collective, then you are ascending through this center. The power is passing through this. Actually, the root of this starts from here. The root starts from here and goes into this and then into this, crossing over. The crossing over takes there, but the root of the ego and superego starts at this point. Sri Krishna, as we know, appeared to Arjuna as a Virata, as the very primordial being. He saw him as a very huge, big personality, and he saw in him all the human beings and all the creations moving about. And he couldn't bear it anymore. He said, I don't want to see it again. Sri Krishna told the Gita, spoke the Gita only to Arjuna, only to one person. He didn't tell it to even the second person, because he was born 6,000 years back. That time the maturity of people was so low that he did not tell about this to anybody else but Arjuna. And this was heard by another person who wrote it down, and Vyasa is the poet who wrote about it. The Gita is the Vedanta, means the end of Vedanta. Vedas have got two sides. The first side is where the mantras are there to excite the right side, or we can say the elements, and the end of it is the philosophy. And he used that philosophy of Gita. He used that Vedanta philosophy in Gita to explain what is knowledge, what is God, what is spirit, how to achieve it, and what happens. Now, Krishna's basic character of his advent was that. So far for Rama, he was the one who lived like a human being and established a special place, or say established a special character of a benevolent king for other kings to follow. But this one, when he came, he found that the whole place was filled with ritualism, with all kinds of dead supraconscious activity and subconscious activities, and people were indulging into materialistic things and were very unhappy. So he established himself as the incarnation of the play, Leela. That the whole world is just a drama. It's just a drama, and you are a witness to it. Actually, what happens when you watch a drama, you feel that you are in it. Supposing there is Napoleon or somebody who is in the drama, you start feeling you are Napoleon. And even when you go home, you talk like Napoleon for a while. You carry on the joke with you. But it's a drama. It's outside you. It is not you. Sometimes when there is, say, a cinema or something we see, we identify ourselves with the scene so much that we cry, we sometimes feel very excited. But when the drama is over, then we suddenly realize, oh God, it was a drama. In the same way, this whole life, human life, is a drama. And the whole drama is only seen when you get your realization, you become a witness. Now those who have got realization should understand that you have become now a witness. Start seeing everything and you'll be amazed. You'll feel, oh, I'm so much away, I'm just witnessing. There is a Sahajogini who came from India. And she had never traveled before anywhere, even by plane she had never traveled before. And comes from a very traditional family. She has never been out without somebody going with her, such a person. She got her realization and she came to America. She told me that I never felt that I was going to America. that I was going by plane anywhere, that I should be frightened, nothing of the kind. And they were all telling me, be careful. I was wondering, what are they worried about? I was least bothered. The whole thing looked like a drama. I got into the plane, I came here, and there was a sea of human beings. I couldn't see my brother, and I think I got lost. I said, all right, if I'm lost, doesn't matter. I'm never lost because I'm with myself. So I was going to the taxi fellow. I was going to tell him, take me down to my brother's place. Then suddenly the brother got to her and found her. But otherwise she was saying, I was so relaxed. I was least bothered. Most surprising, I was witnessing the whole drama without any consideration about it or any awareness about it. I was just doing it automatically. That's what happens. You see the death, and you see the life, and you see the drama, and you do not get involved in it. When you are not involved in it, then you are completely at ease and at peace. As I gave you the example that if you are in the water, then you are worried about the waves. But supposing you get into the boat, then you see the waves as fun. Or if you know how to swim, also you can see it as a fun. So when you get your realization, then the whole thing becomes like a drama, and you start developing your detachment. So he is a Yogeshwar. He is the one who is fully detached. He is a full detachment. Though he was a king, though he was having a very luxurious life, he was a detached personality. Now, he on this earth when he came, he had to have his powers within. And he didn't know how to bring those powers in human beings, because he knew he won't be able to give realization to people at that time, 6,000 years back. So, he created a method by which he got 16,000 wives. And all these wives were nothing but his powers carrying people. And there's a big story about it, which I think every Indian knows, and you can have to find out. He had five, when he became the king, he did all this. And he had five elements as his wives. So his own queens, five of them were five elements, and 16,000 wives were actually his own powers manifested as human beings. And he came on this earth as Krishna, Krishi. Krishi means agriculture, means actually sowing. He sowed the seed. He sowed the seed of spirituality. He said, Nainam chidanti shastrani, nainam davati pavaka, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shosayati maruka. Means this spirit cannot be killed. It cannot be sucked in. It cannot be destroyed. Neither it can be transformed. It is eternal. And to prove that, Christ came on this earth at this point, and he by his resurrection proved it, that it cannot be killed. Now I will tell you about Sri Krishna's life as a diplomat. He was a diplomat. He was the incarnation of diplomacy. And the best diplomacy is such that you give such conditions which are absurd. If you give absurd conditions, then a person gets toppled down over it, and then he succumbs. Because if you approach directly someone, then the people are very half-baked, and they start intellectualizing everything and rationalizing. So better thing is put a proposition before them which is absurd, and let them find out for themselves, and then they come to you with surrender. Now I'll explain to you how. Arjuna was his disciple, and Arjuna, when he went to war with Kauravas, who were the satanic forces in those days, got into a mood of despondence. And he said that these are my relations, there's one of my gurus who taught me how to use the arrow, and how am I to fight this? So then he told the Gita, that time he spoke the Gita to him. And he said that, the first thing he said, that you should find yourself. You must have self-knowledge. You should get realization. You should have the knowledge. Knowledge doesn't mean the idea about this architecture and all that, but knowledge is the awareness of yourself. So Arjuna, being that time a mediocre, I should say, an intellectual, he asked him a question. As usual, intellectuals are good at asking questions, never giving answers. So the intellectual asked him that you are telling us to go to war, and here you are telling me to find my spirit. How do these two things meet? Because according to many people who are talking today also, that a man who is realized should not fight. He should sit down and bear all the brunt of the things upon himself. He should suffer. So he said that, how do you say that I become the spirit and then I have to fight these evil forces? Why should I fight these evil forces then? So he said that, all right, he is a person who is a mediocre. It's very difficult to tell him how to do. Actually, it is very simple. When you are a witness, you can fight better. You have to fight the evil forces. Why are you enlightened if you cannot fight the darkness? You have been made alive to fight the darkness and not to be happy with yourself, oh, I am the light, I am the light, I am the light. But you have to fight the darkness. And this they would not accept, that why should we fight the darkness? So he said, all right. What you do is to do what you want to do and put the fruit of your doing at the lotus feet of the Lord. Now this is absurd. This is an absurd condition. Like you do your karma, but put the fruit of that at the lotus feet of the Lord. It is an absurd condition, you just can't do it. Why? Because you have got Mr. Ego sitting down there. Whenever you do something, you always say you are doing. And even if you say, oh, I have married Christ and this is God's work I am doing, you may say. But in your heart of hearts, it is not. Because you have not got that hollow personality where there is no ego. You must get rid of this ego, otherwise you are doing the work and you are conscious. It's a myth. Actually, human beings don't do anything whatsoever. It's a myth. For example, we have built this beautiful church. Now what have you got? Whatever was created by God, you just change the forms of that and put it. Dead from the dead. What living works have you done? You cannot transform one flower into a fruit. Can you? So it's a myth. We believe in that we do this, we do that, we do this. Actually, you don't do anything. You only change forms of the dead from this to that. And this myth that you have got, that you do, accumulated here as this bi-colored stuff on your head. It can be quite big. Here it is shown, it can be so big as that. Even bigger than your body. Bigger than this big dome. The one who must have built this must have been maybe having a bigger thing than that. Can't be possible. You see, and then you walk like this on the road. You don't know how to balance yourself. With all this big thing on your head all the time, this ego telling you, oh, you are the great. And you meet such a person, better be careful. Keep away from people who have done great work. Otherwise they will use you for something else. So keep away from all such people. That's what is the best. So this Mr. Ego develops into a big thing. And when it develops, it just gives you ideas that, first of all, it makes you think, oh, you are great. You are very great. And then sometimes you get punches on it because people don't accept you as that great as you think yourself to be. Then with a punch it grows even bigger. With one more punch, it's like a rubber balloon. See, you punch, it goes up. Again you punch it. Both ways is horrible. It can be pumped in or it can be punched in. And once it is punched in, then it can be very, very big, and then you don't know what to do, so you recoil down into your electricity here. Then you say, oh, I should not have done it. Because you think by doing that your ego is hurt. You just go there to feel guilty because you think by doing that your ego is hurt. Your image is spoiled. Your so-called image of this big balloon is spoiled, so you feel hurt. Now this happening of giving it or surrendering it at the lotus feet of Lord can only happen when you are realization yourself. Now those people who have got realization, what do? You say, Mother, it is going, it is coming. It's not good. It's not good. You become a third person. You raise the Kundalini, say you have a friend, you bring the friend along. Now the friend doesn't get realization. You don't say, I have given realization. You don't say, I raised the Kundalini. But what you do is to say, that Mother is not yet working, it's a little hot this side, this finger burning, this chakra is touching. But you say everything in the third person. You never say, I do. Even if your son is not realized, or if your father is not realized, you will tell him, I'm sorry, you can't get realization. It is not working. You become the third, and that is what it is when it flows, it's going. It's working, it's there. This is the theory that he tries to propound, that the whole thing should become, the karma should become a karma. Like the sun. The sun shines, but the sun is not conscious that it is shining. It's just empty. It's not bothered. It's not conscious of it. It comes, it changes so many leaves, it gives them color, gives oxygen, does all kinds of things, and it goes back. It's bothered. It is just empty. It does not require any kind of a self-satisfaction that I have done it, I am doing. That kind of a thing should happen to you when you just become an akarma. That is what he was saying. This is the karma theory of Sri Krishna. But he said that a day will come when you will get your realization, and then this karma will be sacked. Christ is the embodiment of all that Krishna prophesied or said. He came on this earth to prove it. The second thing that he talked about is about the Bhakti Yoga, that you must worship by your desire, that you must worship God, that you must surrender yourself to God. Now, when we say that we pray to God, we ask for Him, we ask everything. The way we ask God all the time, really, something so horrible. Like we say that now I want to have a divorce, get cancer for my wife, or do this, or all sorts of things we ask for. We say that we are in the war, we should win, the enemy should be lost, and all sorts of things we ask for God. God must be fed up the way we ask things. But whatever it is, to surrender at the lotus feet of God through your worship, Krishna has been diplomatic again. He said that if you have to do bhakti worship, it should be ananya. Ananya. Now this word is the most diplomatic and used it again and again, which all these scholars and all these people have used. Ananya means when there is not the other, when you are connected. You must do this surrendering when you are connected, which is very true. Without connection, if you start doing any bhakti, whom are you doing the bhakti? If there is no connection, supposing I am sitting in London, you are here. You are writing letters after letters, letters after letters, I never receive them, I never read them, I have nothing to do with it. So what do you?